Can scientists investigate everything? No. At the moment, we cannot see, for instance, into the interior of a black hole, and we are pushing back the frontier into the smallest particles, hadrons, and what they are made of, but there will always be something beyond that. At some point, our devices simply won't have the resolution to illuminate what those incredibly small things are. But these are areas in which money is being spent and experiments are being done. If your reply to this is, what's the point of that? Well, okay, it's science done for its own sake, as opposed to developing new plastics for the next generation of ultra-thin mobile phones. Who knows? In 20 years, what we have learnt about hadrons might mean a clean, efficient power source is developed. But these are speculations for a long time in the future. Back to the initial question. There are areas in which very little research is being done by scientists. One of those is the paranormal. Do scientists believe in ghosts? I suppose some do and some don't. Contrary to popular vox populi, we have spiritual sides, and are often good artists and sportsmen. I knew scientists who were pagans, Christians, athletes, musicians, but no ghostbusters. The answer is simple: why this sort of research is not carried out. Paranormal research in public eyes is about what the characters in Mostly Haunted get up to, going to old locations and turning the lights off while David Okora speculates on what ghosts are there and what happened to them in their real lives. Most of the time he's wildly off mark. Other times he guesses a name beginning with W, and there just happens to have been a William staying there at one point. I want to draw a difference between research into psychic powers, such as was shown in the film The Men Who Stared at Goats, where the CIA and KGB were putting resources into identifying and training people who could apparently do remote viewing or exhibited telekinetic abilities. With poltergeist spirits and the unquiet dead, that's a separate issue. So putting a psychic such as David Okora in a program about ghosts is muddying the waters. And I do wonder how many of these programs have had to be made and thrown away because nothing happened. Or perhaps additional little events like noises and lights were given a parapsychological boost when they could easily have been attributed to plumbing or reflections from earthly sources. Scientists do not investigate ghosts because there's very little in the way of experiments they can do or results that they can obtain. There's only so much time that people can spend sitting in a cold dark room waiting for something to go bump in the night, and it so very rarely does. Maurice Gross, in his investigation into the Enfield poltergeist, available on YouTube, got very lucky, and he and his colleagues never attempted to use psychic powers or other such dubious techniques, because they were unnecessary and contrary to the spirit of their excellently undertaken investigation. However, there are people who bring out their apparent special mind powers in their hunt for a spook. Let them waste their time. What is not to be ignored is the frequent use by some of these non-scientists in using terms to which they are not familiar. They include amongst the descriptions of their ghost-busting words such as ions, electric fields, crystals, ionization, and spectral patterns, without the necessary understanding of what these terms mean. They are also elusive when it comes to explaining what they mean when they say, the presence of quartz caused a reduction in the ability of the ghost's manifestation. What? Spooks are scared of quartz? Someone enunciated on YouTube on the scientific method, a comment to another person's video, and that scientific method is observation, apparently. No. It's observation, then experiment, repeatability in results, and finally peer review by your colleagues. When I pointed this out, I was harangued with abuse and paragraph after paragraph of nonsense and monologue, and assertion that they had seen ghosts, and who am I to go around parading my intelligence? Well, I don't believe that if you have an intelligent and informing point of view, you should keep it to yourself, as long as it doesn't insult. After another communication, I was told I wasn't a scientist, and if I was, I probably spent the 8 years partying and not doing science. I responded that this was out of order, and off the point of why ghosts are frightened of crystals, and even put it to the other that if they had certifiable results, then we could jointly publish it as a paper. That was a bit of a joke on my side. I received the usual comment, identify yourself. So I did. I gave him my university homepage, and since then I've not received one word. I trumped them with my ace. What kicked off this rapport was a YouTube video entitled, Why Are Scientific and Educated People Wankers When They Think What They Do? by a rather weird and self-righteous individual who tells the future using playing cards with odd pictures on them and talks about summoning angels or using sixth-order thought or a whole bunch of unconnected nonsense to do with energy levels and demons. Why is it that each of these champions of the mystic art of talking cobblers despise all the other major players who also talk cobblers? It's like being a goth at a nightclub, haughtily eyeing up all the other people in their finery and smugly coming to the conclusion that your makeup, tousled hair, and leather bodice and thigh-high boots are better than all the other goths there. I sensed an incredible amount of jealousy and probable low self-esteem from people who did not have the intelligence or provision for understanding and hard work towards those who did put the effort in. They are as bad as those on children's TV who don tufty white hair and bottle-bottomed glasses before undertaking some junior science experiment with bubbling coloured liquids and dry ice. Back to the goth nightclub again. So, mystic magic men, and it is almost always males, stay away from the scientific lexicon unless you are prepared to comprehend what ions and energy levels and electromotive force really are. Keep off our terms. They're not for you. And we know that you're using them so that you sound mystical and scientific. And then the next time you decide to describe scientific people as wankers, whatever scientific people means, just remember who gave you all that stuff in the last 400 years, such as mobile phones, televisions, radio, DVD, YouTube, electric light, the printing press, medicine, plastic, and a fundamental description of the universe as we know it today. As for ghosts being scared of quartz, well, this crystalline form is just a rarefied type of other silicates, such as granite and limestone. But as granite won't get you a triple-letter word score where quartz does in Scrabble, it isn't cool to say ghosts are afraid of it. Which is ironic, as granite is known to emit ionizing radiation. The world needs more scientists and less ghost botherers.
Some people think I'm silly because I smoke like a gun. Some people think I'm scary when I'm shouting I want fun. Some people think I'm funny when I